California is continuing to clean up after Sunday's 6.0 quake that caused an estimated $1 billion in damage in Napa Valley. At least 240 patients have been treated for injuries since Sunday, among them 13-year-old survivor Nicholas Dillon, who was almost crushed to death by a fireplace.
I'm going to recover as fast as I can, and I'm going to be fine. I do feel lucky. I believe that if I wouldn't have moved, I could have died.
All this has led to calls for the kind of early warning system that Japan and Mexico have engineered. At the University of California, Berkeley, the Seismology lab's shake alert system detected the quake 10 seconds before it actually happened, a warning system that could become the basis for a government-sponsored effort. As you can see, there is a warning system. A few seconds there. I'm joined now by Richard Allen, who is the director of Berkeley's Seismological lab. Thank you very much for being with us. This could be critical. How far along are you in the warning system? I know you're working with the Geological Survey, and there is government interest in what you're doing.
Yeah, we've been working on this for a number of years. The research actually started a decade ago at this point, but we've been running a demonstration warning system since 2012, and it's performing very well, as demonstrated in this Napa earthquake over the weekend. We're ready at this point. We've shown the technology works, and we are ready to roll this out, turn this into a full-blown public system so that everybody could get a warning on their cell phones or however they want to receive the warnings. All we're missing is the investment to actually do this.
Now, the investment is huge, so what would the cost be?
So I'm not sure I would call it huge. We've already heard about the damage of this earthquake, perhaps reaching $1 billion. The cost of rolling out a West Coast earthquake early warning system is $120 million over 5 years. So that's the cost to build it and run it for the first 5 years, and California, Oregon, and Washington could then be getting a warning. And if we were to get the funding, then we could have this system up and running in 2 years, hopefully before the next earthquake.
Now, I read that LA could get a longer warning, perhaps 40 to 50 seconds. Why is there a disproportionate amount of time that different regions could be warned? Maybe you can explain that.
Sure, it's not that LA can get more warning than San Francisco. The amount of warning that you get depends on where you're located relative to the epicenter of the earthquake. So the Napa earthquake was just north of the Bay Area, and so that's why there was about a 5 seconds worth of warning at Berkeley, a little more warning in San Francisco and in Oakland, maybe about 15 seconds of warning in San Jose. The really big earthquakes, the magnitude 8 earthquakes, if they start on the San Andreas Fault away from the cities, whether it be Los Angeles or San Francisco, then you could have a minute's worth of warning. And those are the earthquakes that are going to do most damage. So you get the most warning for the earthquakes that do the most damage.
Do you think that it's necessary to reconsider some of the structures? We've seen what Japan has done with Tokyo, which is remarkable, how little damage relatively there was after the big earthquake there. Napa has all of these wonderful old, homes, and the historic homes, the Victorian structures that we saw that were near collapse. It's really the character of that community, though.
Absolutely. No, there's no question. Earthquake early warning is not a panacea. Earthquake early warning is not going to prevent poor buildings from being damaged. It's about protecting individuals, bringing automated machinery, trains, things like that to a standstill. There's no question it's just as important to make sure that the structures that we live and work in are ready to withstand earthquakes so that they don't collapse in the future events.
And are there ways to retrofit old structures with these old wooden homes that are so lovely, and the charm of that whole area?
Absolutely, you can retrofit buildings. When it comes to certainly homes, without question, you can retrofit. When it comes to larger commercial buildings, it becomes a little more complicated, and the owners of the building have to decide, is it better to retrofit the building, which could be expensive, or is it better to rebuild? For example, here on the Berkeley campus, the university has been investing in improving its buildings. Many buildings have been retrofit, and some buildings have been vacated as a result. So we have to take responsibility. We know that earthquakes are coming. We have to make sure our buildings are safe, and we have to make use of new technologies like earthquake early warning as they become available.
Richard Allen from UC Berkeley, thank you so much for being with us. Fascinating stuff.
Thank you.